And it is time now for our weekly dose of fail, where we bring you a few odd news stories or people just being plain stupid, or in this case, we've had a couple more bad luck cases. We'll get to those. Our first one is from Albuquerque, New Mexico. A New Mexico woman was arrested and spent a night in jail for not returning the book Twilight and 2 DVD set The Twilight Saga New Moon back to the library on time. The Albuquerque Journal reports Lori Teal was arrested and handcuffed at her home in front of her 5 small children earlier this month for the $36 worth of library materials not returned since 2010. Her attorney says arrest warrants were mailed last year to an address at which she hadn't lived since childhood, but Teal was arrested by officers investigating a disturbance. Her charges were dismissed. That's really Twilight of all things, though. I mean, whatever. Our next one comes to us from Florida. I believe that's Florida. Inverness, Florida. The county sheriff's office is investigating a deadly accident that happened during a sanctioned racing event. It happened Saturday around 9:50 p.m. during a special figure-8 race of school buses at a speedway. According to investigators, a green bus overturned, landing on its roof. The driver, identified as Charles Chick Whitehead, 62, was pronounced dead at the scene. When emergency personnel extracted him from the wreck, Whitehead was still in the driver's seat, restrained by his racing safety harness. A black bus that was part of the same race also struck Whitehead's overturned bus. However, no other injuries were reported. Okay, so you're racing school buses on a speedway. You know, yeah, okay. Our next one comes to us from Ellicott City, Maryland. This one's really interesting. Police in Maryland saw a man say a man has been charged with assault for using a slingshot to fire glass marbles at a speed camera van. Authorities say Bruce Lawrence May of Ellicott City was arrested this past Tuesday. The 50-year-old Lawrence was also charged with destruction of property and reckless endangerment. He was released on $3,000 bond. Howard County Police say that about 5 p.m. this past Tuesday, the van was near Manor Woods Elementary School when the operator heard something hit the side of the vehicle. The operator saw a minivan pass and saw the driver with a slingshot fire another projectile at the speed camera van. Police say that the man had received 2 speed camera violations recently.
Why would you do that in the first place?
He was probably trying to take some sort of revenge, but it's very creative, though, and I'm glad people do that because then they wind up on our show. Our next one comes to us from land down under, Australia to be exact. It's easy to forget just how dangerous fueling your vehicle can be. Well, I guess I'm only 15, so I don't know that quite yet. But drivers visit gas stations hundreds of times a year, and topping off the tank is as second nature as tying your shoelaces. However, that doesn't mean gasoline has suddenly turned less flammable. Just ask one absent-minded guy in Australia. While waiting for the pump to shut off, the gentleman checked to see if his cigarette lighter was in working order. Sure enough, a small flame popped up with the first flick of the flint, and the fumes from the gushing gas pump quickly followed suit. Our wicked fire starter took the time to hop his open car door instead of simply closing it, and sprinted right past a clearly visible fire extinguisher in an attempt to save his own skin. Fortunately, the station operator had the presence of mind to shut down the pump, and a bystander took it upon himself to douse the flames with water. Authorities say everyone involved was only seconds from going extra crispy. Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
You can wait like maybe 5 more seconds with the cigarette lighter. It's just not worth it. Our last one comes to us from, I'm guessing that's Alabama, Largo, Alabama. A 17-year-old male was shot at a Largo home, according to the sheriff's office down there. Deputies responded on Friday around 7:45 p.m. to a case. Whatever. After further investigation, deputies say Thorne Montgomery, 17, was involved in a game of Russian Roulette with 3 other teens. The teens, aging from 16 to 19, were playing the game of chance with a .38 caliber revolver. Montgomery was reportedly the first of these friends to take a shot at the game. The gun discharged, critically injuring Montgomery in the head. Russian Roulette is not...
Revolver, I use a semi-auto.
Yeah, maybe in the world of Call of Duty. Well, I guess Call of Duty, you could... Yeah, exactly. He was flown to Bayfront Medical Center, where he later, unfortunately, passed away from his injuries and being stupid for playing Russian roulette in the first place. Deputies are still investigating the case. I don't think there's really much more to investigate. You have a few dumb kids who are playing with guns, and that's exactly what happens. Yeah. Anyway,